Hello, everyone. It's Monique Lynelle here, and today we are on chapter 5. Chapter 5 is When Your Heart is Broken, Seek the Healer. So, whoo, had to just exhale right there. So, when you think about a broken heart, how many of us have had one? I mean, for me, Blessed in the Midst of the Storm, chapter 5 talks about some of the heartbreak that I've had. Even though previously, if you heard me talk about chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, it's always something going on, right? So I'm going to talk very briefly about what happened. I was talking about my divorce. I was married for 9 years. I was with this guy for 12 years of my life, and I ended up getting a divorce at 25. If you do the math, you'll realize I got married very young. I was very in love, and I thought he was all that in a bag of chips, as we used to say. So I just thought he was, the right guy for me. I really loved him. And at one point, I thought he really loved me. But it just wasn't working out. We got separated a couple times. It was infidelity involved. It was, we had domestic disputes. It just was a lot. It was, really, it became toxic for both of us. It wasn't very encouraging. I didn't receive a lot of support from him, but I would be there for him. And if some of you all know him, he was a professional boxer. He was a Marine. So, I mean, he was my guy. Like, he was my everything at one point. And so I would go to his boxing matches. I moved out to Hawaii to be with him. I mean, I would tell any guy to step off because I already got a man, even at 16. So I didn't have a problem with that. So it was very heartbreaking. It was very heartbreaking for me to say goodbye because I tried counseling, I tried other things, I tried forgiving him, but we're going to talk about forgiveness in another chapter. But I was heartbroken, and I really needed to heal. So I wasn't really mature spiritually during our marriage. I was still running from things that happened as a teenager. My dad being an interim pastor and all that stuff. If you didn't know about that stuff, I talk about it in my documentary, Monique Lynelle's Journey. And if you haven't seen that, you get to see some more in-depth things about my life and the process of different things that have happened throughout my journey. But anyway, so, I had to get to a point where I allowed God to be my healer. He's always been able, but I wasn't always able to let him in and soften my heart enough for him to mold me and to be able to really heal me. So that's one thing I talk about. I talk about the death of my child. If you don't know, I was 5.5 months when my baby came too early, and she lived for about 3 hours and 16 minutes. And it was just really hard for me. It was devastating. It was an unplanned pregnancy. It was after my marriage, so I was already divorced, but I was 30 years old, and I had already had miscarriages. I don't believe in abortion, and I always had hope that she was going to be okay. If the Lord wanted her to be here, then it would happen, and I never tried to give up hope on her. But when she passed away, it broke my heart. It was just another time that my heart was broken. And what I had to find out is God is a healer. And throughout time, I was able to go through a deliverance. And it it really is something that almost like it feels like a weight is lifted off of you. But let me tell you some more things about healing. So once I did that and I got delivered and I dealt, with praying and giving myself over to God, I rededicated my life to God. And if some of you all didn't know, I was celibate for like 4 years straight after my baby. Like it was a relationship directly after that, but after that relationship, because he was always in Africa, so it wasn't going to work out even though he wanted it to. I was like, if you're not going to come here and I'm not going to stay there. I went to visit him and everything, but it wasn't going to work out. So that's not a part of my heartbreak, but I did just have to let that go. But I was celibate for like 4 years and I had rededicated my life to God. I got baptized again as an adult, and I really just I let God be himself and show up in my life, and he healed my heart. And now I call him the guardian of my heart. He is my guardian. And with that said, different people that have bad intentions towards me in relationships, I've had to let them go. So people might ask, why are you single, Monique? What is going on? It's not because I haven't been with somebody or talked to somebody or gotten to know somebody or even let somebody, in. I've been engaged in everything. It just wasn't right. And I asked God to reveal things to me about whoever the person is, so that if I need to not proceed or if I need to, then I would know. And he showed up and showed me what was going on. But let me tell you how much God is a healer. So last year, 2019, actually it started in 2018. I was having headaches every day, migraine headaches. It felt like my brain was going to explode, and it went on for like months at a time. And so I have medicine that I can take for my headaches, specifically for them, but I had never had them that consistently, that consecutively. So it was a problem, and I didn't know what was going on. So I ended up going to a neurologist. The neurologist told me that I needed to get MRIs. I got 2 MRIs. They ended up finding out that I had infarctions and foci on my brain. And basically that's saying that you have had like, they call it TIA, and they're like, it's like a mini stroke. I dealt with high blood pressure after I had my child, and it just was like they couldn't tell when I had the things happen to my brain. They couldn't tell when I went through it. I didn't know I had a mini stroke. I didn't know I went through that. Because they're like temporary things. It's not like a full-on stroke. It's like something that will happen for maybe an hour or a limited amount of time within a 24-hour period. So it's not a full-on stroke, thank God, but still, these were things I was dealing with and I didn't know. So come to find out, I was fine. So it was something that God kept me from. I feel like, there's certain things you go through life and you go all the way through it. It's people that I know that have had cancer and they didn't make it. Then there's other people that I know that have had cancer. They've gotten chemo. They've had, surgery and had lumps removed and are living today. So everybody's outcome is not going to be the same. So they did an EKG on me. They did an EKG on me. They did an echocardiogram, which is something that is like looking at your heart to see if everything is okay. I was going through all this litany of tests, and it just was really hard for me because I wasn't sure what was wrong. Come to find out, like the summer before, and that was July and August of 2018, I was bleeding for like the whole summer, and I didn't know why. I know this is personal, but I'm just adding some details for you to understand. So, my blood count got really low, and basically your hemoglobin and stuff like that is supposed to be close to 12 or 12 and above, around that range. Mine was like 8. So I would feel lightheaded. The doctor asked, do you feel dizzy or anything like that? When I would feel those ways, I just brushed it off and kept going, because I was like, well, maybe it's because like I'm iron deficient already. So that made it really worse. So they ended up putting me on these hormones to regulate my period so I wouldn't keep bleeding. I had to get iron infusions. I was going through all of this, and I was filming my first film from like April 2018 to really like to the end of August, because I didn't finish in September and October time frame like I wanted to. So I still had scenes I needed to do. I had a foster child from like September 2018 to January 2019. And like, so I was going through all of this. Come to find out, this is the reason why I'm saying all of this, is that I was going through this stuff back to back, still trying to live life, going to work, dealing with everything else. I was filming on the weekends. I was doing whatever I had to do. At the end of the day, they said that the migraines were caused by the pills that I was taking to try to regulate my periods. So it was like a spiral, a spiral down effect. It was like a domino effect. It was like a domino effect, and I couldn't do anything about it. So at the end of the day, like, I'm okay. Nobody saw me where I was falling out and where I just got dizzy walking, or I had to take a long stint of time from work, but I did take some time away. I had started a doctoral program in September 2018. I did a couple classes, but those headaches were so bad I had to reach out to the school and tell them, look, I need to take this class over. So I ended up doing that, and come that next January. But God is a healer, because he healed me from things that other people get and don't recover. People have had strokes and don't recover from it. Some people can't talk. They have slurred speech. They have numbness all the time. I've had the tingling in my hands and my feet and stuff like that, and then I just get up and keep going. I didn't fall out from being anemic. It's like everything that could have went way left could have went really wrong. My heart is fine, everything. But I took some time away from me, and now I'm trying to get back involved in different things, and I wanted to finish my movie and do some stuff. But that's what I was going through, and I wasn't complaining to everybody and telling people what I was going through. But thank God I still look healthy. I don't look messed up. I don't look like my pain. I don't look like what I've been through. I've had to go through so when you have any irregularities with bleeding and stuff like that, like, they'll try to test you for uterine cancer. They tested me for that. Everything was benign, nothing. They thought I had fibroids. They went in with a tube, looked inside my uterus, everything. Nothing was there. They said it was like a small polyp, like a small tiny little bump, almost like if you have a mole on your face, a small mole, excuse me. No corona. Just some pollen blew in from the window. Oh my gosh. Feel like it went right in my throat. And I don't have any water up here. But anyway, so yeah, I don't have uterine cancer. I never had to go through it. I've been tested for cervical cancer. I found a lump in my breast and I was tripping. Went to the doctor. I had people pray over me. Before I went, I found a lump. It was hard. It was in my breast. I didn't know what was going on. I told a few different people and I asked them to pray for me, and different other people were asked to pray for me. And when I went to see the doctor, they were like, "Nope, it's nothing to be worried about. It's just a cyst. We can remove it if you like to." Don't you know? They set up the appointment for me to get it removed, and it's gone. It's gone. Another thing, they had diagnosed me with PCOS, and that's polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I'm thinking, oh gosh, like I'm getting older now, and because I wasn't married, I wasn't really trying to have children, but I do want children. I would like a husband and I would like children, but I just didn't want to have kids with any old body and somebody I didn't care about and stuff like that. And so I went last year, 2019, October, November, had all these tests done, and I can still have kids. And the thing is, that's the blessing, because I was looking at PCOS, which a lot of people look at, depending on how severe yours is. Some people have extreme problems having kids. Some people don't. They just need something, sometimes medication to help them to ovulate, in a certain rhythm per se. But you still have to be trying with somebody. You can't just be like, okay, I'm taking something to regulate me and my ovulation, and then you're not, getting busy. So anyway, my point is that what they did was take a litany of tests that would see where my egg count is. And even though now I'm in my 40s, even though I'm still looking cute, girl, um, yeah, they told me that mine was like in the realm of like a 33-year-old, 33 to 37. So that was the average of where mine are. And I really think it's because of PCOS. They didn't say that was the reason, but because I was skipping periods even back when I was 12 and 13 and 14 when I was playing basketball and stuff, it was like I was skip and it'd be every other month. So now there's more eggs still left. I never thought about it like that, but I was like, God is up to something. So whatever he has for me is for me, and so whatever was broke, it was fixed. When they looked at my ovaries, they were like, there's no cyst on them. They looked at all my female parts, like all the reproductive parts. And they said, my fallopian tube's open. Like, okay, God is a healer. So whatever was wrong is fixed up. And now I'm ready. That's why I just need to be careful. And, I don't mind putting it out there, but, I still have to be careful, because I won't say what I don't need. What I do need is someone that cares for me and that will care for our family. So I'll keep it that way. But all I know is that the Lord is the guardian of my heart. So if a man wants to get with me, he needs to pray to God to see if he's the right man for me, because I don't have my daddy anymore, to be that physical force that's there for a man to, answer to. But I do have the Lord in heaven, and he's even bigger and stronger than my physical dad was. So, you don't want to mess with his baby, his lady. I'm the Lord's lady. That's how I look at it. And, he doesn't want somebody to treat me wrong. He knows what I've been through. And so I share these different things in the book, and about just God being a healer. I share different scriptures, and God is a restorer. So I'm prayerfully and hoping that He will restore things that have been taken from me, the things that have hurt me, and all the places that He healed my heart in. I still am hopeful that the right people will be in my life and the right things will happen. And I'm telling you all this because I want you to have hope that God can heal you. It's a lot of people losing hope because they see so much death, but death is not final for a believer. So you should still have faith that God is still a healer. He has done miracles in the past and He can do them again. It's just how you look at things, and sometimes it's not the time for somebody to be healed, but you have to have faith. And a lot of times in the Bible, even Christ, when He spoke to people, He would tell them that their faith has made them whole. It's because they believed that they could be healed that it happened. And I'm just a believer that God can do anything, and He can turn situations in your body that were wrong and make them right. And Christ was a healer and did many miracles. And He healed a blind man and allowed him to see, and he was blind from birth, and a lame man to be able to walk. The lady with the issue of blood, He allowed that to dry up so that she wouldn't bleed like that continuously for 12 years. Look, I bled for 2 months, and I was like, ugh, I'm about to be out of it. So I had a newfound respect for that lady and all that she went through, and then what brought her to the point to see Christ and just wanting to touch Him and to believe that she would be healed. And that's what He told her. Your faith has made you whole. And the stories go on and on and on. And God, if God can do it then, He can still do things for us now. And sometimes you need a heart healing and you can't see your heart. So you think, oh, I'm fine, because you're fine physically, but your heart is wounded and broken, and you need to allow the Lord to come into your life, into your heart, and fill you with the Holy Spirit and heal you from the inside out, instead of you trying to do it yourself. Once I realized I couldn't heal certain things myself, and now that's why I understand how somebody can feel, because after a divorce, it felt like a death. It felt like a separation. It felt like my heart was tearing in two. But I was bad. I was hard on myself. I felt like, God's not going to forgive me, and it's not going to be okay. And I had to forgive myself. I had to let God heal me. And I'm ready to be somebody's wife. I'm a wifey material lady. Okay, don't get it twisted. I'm not just somebody's girlfriend, somebody's side, something. Never. Okay? I'm too territorial for that anyway. Okay, I'm a tigress. So let's be real. If you look up tigress, about them and what they, how they are in nature, they're territorial, they're protective, and they're loyal, and they mate for life. So, as do the eagles. At the end of the day, God is able, and He can heal you just like He healed me. And the thing is that, when you're all broke up and you're looking at just your circumstances, you can't let God do what He can do to help you to get over that situation and allow you to understand you are enough. And even though you've been broken by a relationship, you can gain a better relationship with the Lord that has created you, and then your Lord, your Savior, and then allow the Holy Spirit to speak to you and comfort you and help you through the hard times. Because, who likes to be alone all the time? But I'd rather be alone than to be with the wrong person. And I have forgiven myself and I have forgiven my ex-husband, and I'm no longer with him, and I'm no longer brokenhearted over him. So therefore, I can love the next man, the right man, the husband man, the right way. And if he doesn't come along to grab me up, then oh well, somebody's gonna miss out. Win. So anyway, that is chapter 5. And we're going to be moving on to chapter 6. You don't want to miss it. It's Monique Lynelle, 10-4, over and out.